Welcome back to La Conca Muro Lecese for the KF final. As we all take a breath after that sensational 60cc mini final. We brought you the results, but they are provisional. The stewards are indeed having a look at the final lap of the race. You saw it happen right here on WSK.IT live. And the podium presentations will take place at the conclusion of the KZ2 final. Possibly. Maybe. It was that controversial. Nevertheless, we are getting set to go with the KF final here this afternoon. It's going to be absolutely sensational. 25 kilometres the distance. 20 laps of this 1.25 kilometre circuit. This class is particularly interesting here today because on September 27 we will be back to decide the 2015 World Championship for this very category that is lined up on the grid here today. Magnificent sight. This is the south of Italy. As the crow flies, it's only about 400 kilometres from Northern Africa. It's only about 70 kilometres from the former Yugoslav state of Albania, which on a clear day can be seen from nearby Otranto, over the water, over the Adriatic Sea, in fact. The palm trees indicate that, yeah, we're not too far from north of the African continent. 19 degrees, the top, nice gentle breeze. It's warm t-shirt weather here at La Conca for the third round of the WSK Super Master Series. We've already seen the 5-minute board go up. Next, we will see the 3, the 2, the 30 seconds, and then these 125cc engines will fire into life. Wherever you are joining us from all around the world, we know that there are thousands, well, there's actually tens and tens of thousands of people watching from every continent on Earth. The world's premier kart racing series, brought to you by WSK Promotion. As the 3-minute board goes up. A start at 5 minutes past 3 local time. Mechanics clear the track, as do the Vega grid girls, in just a moment at least. They can stay a bit longer. That's the scene here at La Conca, the back of the grid. Gaspar Mihevich in the Tony kart, scraped into the final alongside the Finn Ville Villanen. This man on screen, Karel Bash, has won the opening 2 rounds of the series. The driver from Poland, last year with Tony Kart, this year with the Cosmic team. Petro Hilbrand from Spain, driving the CRG. You can see Jessica Backman in the Cosmic to the left of your screen, in the Cosmic kart also. Martin van Leuven from the Netherlands, who's been on the podium before in the WSK series. Now the Vega grid girls clear the track. That is the front row of the grid. To the right of your screen, the man that everybody is watching, number 201 from Denmark, Niklas Nielsen in the Tony kart. He is alongside the virtually identical machine of the Russian Alexander Vartanyan for Ward Racing. Felice Tianen, the 221 CRG behind on the second row of the grid, behind Casper Rose. The 1-minute board about to go up. Yep, September 27 is when this class will decide the World Championship for the final time in its current specification. All new regulations coming our way in 2016. As we mentioned in the pre-final, we'll call it the DeLorean class, Back to the Future. It's going to be fantastic next year. There will be no battery, there will be no starter motor, there will be no clutch. Direct drive, lightweight, fast, it will be awesome. That is Tom Bale, who only a few weeks ago wrapped up the United Arab Emirates National Championship over in Dubai. Hello to all our friends watching in the Middle East, as Felicitiano is slow to get away off the grid, but he does eventually do so without too much trouble. This is the grid. Nielsen and Vartanyan on the front row of the grid from Rose Antiani, Leonardo Lorandi with Max Futrell. Carol Bash is on 7th, alongside Martin van Leuven. Tom Bale, that we just saw, is alongside the MC01 kart of Andreas Joachimsen, also from Denmark. All the way from Christchurch, New Zealand, Marcus Armstrong on the 6th row of the grid, alongside the Spaniard Pedro Hiltbrand. Richard Vashaw, who had a massive shunt yesterday, left the track and crashed into the barriers at more than 100 kilometres an hour. He lines up quite incredibly, in fact, on the 7th row of the grid, alongside the Belgian driver Benjamin Lassan. Tom Joyner, the former world champion, back on the 8th row, alongside Sasakorn Chaiman from Bangkok in Thailand. Yuri Vips alongside Matteo Vigano in the top cart, who finished 2nd 3 weeks ago in Castelletto di Branduzzo. Marco Dionysis from Bucharest, not Budapest, I'll correct myself, from 3 weeks ago, from Bucharest, Romania in the Tony Kart, is alongside the Croc Promotion driver Benjamin Henley from the United Kingdom. Number 242, he lines up just in front of Lorenzo Travisanuto in the PCR kart as the field snake their way down through the centre chicane for what will probably be only their second yet final formation lap. 20 laps is the final distance, 25 kilometres exactly to the metre here at this La Conca circuit. They're actually going reasonably quickly. Nielsen, Vartanyan, the field look pretty good as they accelerate up to the start-finish line. Oh, we've had a big incident. Lorandi has had a coming together with Carol Bash. You can see that Bash and Lorandi had a big coming together as they accelerated up. I think Lorandi's engine might have just stalled just a fraction. Bash ran into the back of him. His nose cone is, ironically enough, still attached to his cart. But he has managed to rejoin at the back of the field. Sensational before the lights even went out. That's Carol Bash in the Cosmic Kart. He is to start out of grid number 7. Leonardo Lorandi, in theory, starts right in front of him in grid number 5. Well, just sensational. Lorandi has rejoined in that baby race Tony Kart. Let's see if we get set to go racing this time. Just sensational. Sensibly, the race was delayed a lap. The nerves, the heart rates will be sky high for these senior KF drivers. Nicholas Nielsen acknowledges the drivers behind as they accelerate in the start-finish line. He hasn't got the best start, Nielsen. They're going to be side by side, but the Dane will just hold off and lead down into turn number 1 and 2. Fantastic start, it looks like. Casper Rose in 2nd spot. So once again, we've got a Danish 1-2 Vartanyan. That's him on screen. The 207 Tony Kart is in 3rd. Lorandi, how high do you reckon his heart rate would be? He's in 4th spot. And we've also lost 5 karts on the exit of turn number 3. The track is still blocked. The yellow flag is out. It looks as though we might have lost Armstrong in that. Another one of the Cosmic Karts is out as they come across the line. The track is still blocked on the exit of turn number 3. There's the yellow flag warning our race leader, Nicholas Nielsen. That was the remnants of the crash which you just saw. Martin van Leuven was one of the drivers caught up in that, as was Tom Bale, unfortunately. Marco Dionysis is also out. The Cosmic Kart was Maxime Potti. Takes no further part in this race. We had 34 starters. We are down to 27 on the opening lap of the race. And no surprises, the driver leading after all that commotion It's Nicholas Nielsen. Second spot, Casper Rose. Third, Vartanyan. Then it's Lorandi. Carol Bash across the line in fifth. He's made up 2 spots. Nielsen's done a 47.1 in clear air. Can expect another half second or so to be shaved off that time. Armstrong is in 9th, one behind Richard Verschoor, who has made up 5 places. Tom Joyner is in 7th spot. He's made up 8. The 2013 world champion from the United Kingdom. There he is, coming through on screen now. Tom Joyner in the Zanardi cart, powered by the TM. Lorandi has a big look up the inside of Rose, who has dropped back to 5th spot as Vartanyan moves into 2nd. Bash is 4th, Lorandi 3rd. Now the race starts to settle down, and they set about catching this man. Fastest lap of the race, there it is, 40. Spin to 8th place after starting on grid number 20. Fastest lap for Vartanyan as Felice Tiani goes up a spot in the CRG. He's now in 5th. Lorenzo Travisanuto is 16th in the PCR. He's come from grid 22 and he's absolutely flying, but he's got a lot of traffic in front of him. He's made up another spot just as we speak on the back straight. He's made up 2, in fact. They race down into the centre chicane. Nielsen, Vartanyan, every inch of the racetrack. There's Tiani leading Bash. Nielsen, the gap was 1.1 seconds. He now leads Vartanyan by 0.8, so the Russian is catching him. We've seen this in most of the heats, indeed, even in the pre-final. The other drivers gave their best attack. They fired all their missiles early in the race, and Nielsen said, hey, I've got it under control, and he went away and won all the heats and the pre-final. Will the final be any different? We've passed quarter race distance. They come down to the hairpin. That's Lorandi, Team Baby Race, in 3rd spot. Looks over his shoulder to find the Dane of Casper Rose in 4th. A big gap back. In fact, it's 3 seconds between the leader and 5th spot. Tom Joyner up to 7th. Yuri Vips, good drive into 14th for the young Estonian. He's ahead of Anton Haga, who miraculously is racing after a spectacular crash yesterday. Let's just say he redesigned the catch fence on the exit of turn number 8. Haga is ahead of Marco Mastranzi, Benjamin Lassen, Max Futrell down in 18th spot. Not a great start for the Brit. Sassakorn Chiman Cole way down in 25th spot, fighting with Jessica Backman. Nielsen. Fastest lap again for the Russian, Alexander Vartanyan. He is catching your leader. This is the most pressure any driver has put on the young Dane all weekend. He's got the gap down to 0.5 of a second. Leonardo Lorandi watches on in 3rd spot and thinks if these two start dicing amongst themselves, I'll be in the hunt for a win. He's 1 second behind, but a couple of passing moves and he'll be right up there on their tail. Nielsen adjusts the carburetor on that Vortex engine, looks over the shoulder. Oh, he's got a problem. Nielsen's out. Nielsen has got a problem. We saw him adjust the carburetor. Nicholas Nielsen, no! He's out. The Dane that everyone thought would walk away with this final has pulled off on the exit of turn number 2. You cannot believe it. This is the 2nd time in 3 races here at La Conca that he has had bad luck after setting the pace. He's absolutely distraught. Walks back on the infield. His kart is stranded on the exit of turn number 2. He's absolutely disgusted. Takes his gloves off. The Russian Alexander Vartanyan says, how good is this? I'm the leader. Can't quite believe his luck. That's him. Wow. Sensational. They've passed the stranded cart of Nielsen now. Lorandi in second place now. That moves Felicitieni up into third. The Russian leads the Italian. In fact, two Italians, then the first Dane. It's not Nielsen, it's Casper Rose. He's in fourth spot, still ahead of Carol Bash, who did win the opening 2 rounds of the series, let's remember. He won in Adria in cold, wet, windy conditions. He won in Castelletto in very wet, windy conditions. Here in the sunshine, Bash is in 5th spot, ahead of Tom Joyner, Richard Bashaw, Ben Henley from grid number 20 is now into 8th. That's him coming on screen now, number 242. He leads the Kiwi, Marcus Armstrong, Andreas Jochimsen. The 222 car of Petro Hiltbrand leads Lorenzo Trens. This is the 12th lap they're on. The gap has extended. You can see it's 1.6 seconds. It was 1.4. Henley in 8th, ahead of Armstrong. Those two fighting amongst themselves. But wow, going back to 3 or 4 laps ago, Nick, he sits so low in this kart. Excellent centre of gravity. The inside rear skips up. In fact, it looked like both right side tyres skipped into the air. Over the ripple strip, down through the centre chicane. Massive grip generated by these Vega tyres here at this La Conca circuit. Into the hairpin. Will start his 14th lap, I'm sorry. 6 to go. This is virtually 3/4 race distance. Carol Bash adjusts that Vortex engine. Bashaw with his head down in the 210 kart. 204 is the the Brit Tom Joyner. He's in the Zanardi kart there. Vartanyan reels off another lap. Gets excellent traction coming onto the back straight. Even though he puts the left rear into the dirt, it doesn't really affect him. Ward Racing, the team from Sweden, have got this Tony kart absolutely on rails. Well, what was promising to be a sensational race has left us with 12 karts already parked on the sidelines, just over half race distance. Bashaw is actually catching Casper Rose in 4th spot. Carol Bash has gone back into 6th. Lorenzo Travisanuto. Sensational drive by the Italian. He's come from grid 22 to be in 11th with Andreas Jochimsen behind him. Down through the centre chicane. Onto the start-finish straight, accelerating up to 128 kilometres an hour. Leonardo Lorandi, a big look over his shoulder. Richard Bashaw, he has been a star here in the WSK series. He's come from grid number 13. 21 drivers remain. That's Marcus Armstrong, 202 in the Tony kart. Andreas Jochimsen in the MC01 kart. The team run by Armando Fellini. Sponsored by the Mad Croc Energy Drink Company. A sensation here in 2015. Very impressive setup in the paddock. Three laps to go now for the Russian. Alexander Vartanyan, he has done a 46.005 to set the fastest lap of the race. Lorandi is still second. Felicitieni is trying desperately to chase down the 2 leaders, but he won't have enough time and he's nowhere near close enough. He will stand on the podium this afternoon as Richard Bashaw goes through into 4th spot now. Makes the move on the Dane Casper Rose. Carol Bash follows from Tom Joyner. Down through the centre chicane for the 3rd. There's Tierney in the CRG. There's Bashaw driving the wheels off that car. Bash in the 203 Tony car, Cosmic kart, I should say. It was painted green last year, but not in 2015. Marcus Armstrong into 8th spot. Hasn't been the best weekend for the young Kiwi, who took 2nd at the Winter Cup in Lonato. about a month ago. The last lap board comes out for the Russian. Alexander Vartanyan from Leonardo Lorandi. Felicitieni Verschoor now into 4th spot. This has been the drive of the race by the young Dutchman. Putting this man aside, the Vortex-powered Tony Kart is on its final tour of this 1.25 kilometre La Conca circuit. He will notch up his first win in the WSK Series, down through the centre chicane for the final time. Into the hairpin. He brakes, accelerates. The Russian will take the checkered flag. It goes to Alexander Vartanyan. He wins it from Leonardo Lorandi. Great drive by Felicitieni to come home in 3rd. He's happy with that. Richard Verschoor was 4th ahead of Casper Rose. Carol Bash, 6th place from Tom Joyner. Marcus Armstrong in 8th. Petro Hilbrand and Lorenzo Travisanuto rounding out the top 10. Whoa. Congratulations, Alexander Vartanyan from Russia. He wins it for Ward Racing. "20 finishes at the end of that one. We lost 5 on the opening lap of the race on the exit of turn number 3. We lost our